Rachel, I'd love to bring you on and have you just talk a little bit about kind of what Hashimoto's is and what this whole conversation of autoimmune, like what does that mean when someone's struggling with an autoimmune disease?
Yeah, I'm really glad that you're bringing this topic to light and asking this question. And I just want to acknowledge you for having this amazing show. I think it's so great, such a great resource for the community, all of the Facebook community that goes throughout the world. And I just love you so much, Roxanne. You've been a huge inspiration to me. You're a beautiful fire dancer. And you also are just a very articulate, incredible young woman who just, have so much wisdom. You have so much wisdom and you have so much desire to help and change the world. And that really inspires me. So I'm grateful to be here. And, to answer your question, what is autoimmune disease? It's a little bit complex because there's different views. In some worlds, it is seen as the body attacking itself, mistaking the body for something else. But I don't really go with this perception because I feel like this creates the body as the enemy. And actually, I believe that there's also another body of thought, which is that the body is highly intelligent and then the body can actually determine the difference and actually will not attack itself. And so what is it attacking? Well, in my case, with Hashimoto's, a lot of doctors will test for Epstein-Barr now. So if a person has Hashimoto's, they'll test for Epstein-Barr virus. So it's really that the body's actually trying to attack a virus. So, that can cause inflammation in the body. There's a relationship with the gut and the brain. There's a relationship between, our digestion and how we manifest health or disease in the body, and how that impacts our lives. So I really feel that the body is so intelligent, and I really have come to that conclusion by my own experience, by seeing my body be able to repair itself with the support of nutrition. And so, my former life was as a nutritionist and Ayurveda practitioner. I also do, Tibetan pulse reading and face mapping and all those different things for diagnostics. And so when I, long story short is, I came to nutrition with, really like a microscope looking at everything. But just to answer your basic question, autoimmune is, my particular issue is Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. So, inflammation of the thyroid, and that caused a host of problems from, feeling just brain fog, having trouble finding the words, just not being able to remember even what I was cooking when I was cooking it, looking down, wondering who was cooking, and then realizing I was the only one in the house, and therefore I must have cooked this meal, but when did I chop the vegetables? When did I go to the store? What have I been doing for the last 5 or 10 minutes? How did I get here? Why am I standing right here? It's like an amnesia, 5 to 10 minutes amnesia. Some people have all kinds of more longer term amnesia. That's really all I can equate it to is amnesia. And then, just being exhausted, just extremely, extremely fatigued. There's a lot of different types of categories, diagnoses that fall under autoimmune. Diabetes is now considered an autoimmune disorder. Cancer is considered an autoimmune disease. We say disorder is disease. Lyme, and so on. Almost everything kind of goes under that umbrella. So it's a pretty wide topic. And I just have seen so many people recover with nutrition, just having the most incredible nutrients. And in my case, the 40-day transformation is what started me. And within the first 7 days, I had no symptoms. And I didn't even talk about the fatigue, what the fatigue was like, because it's hard for people to imagine what it's like to be so exhausted all the time. But in my case, to be exhausted means literally I would have to take a nap before every little thing I did. So if I got to the store to go shopping, I would lay my feet back and I would just fall asleep. And I mean a deep sleep for 15 minutes before I got into the store. Got up and got into the store, come out of the store, put my groceries away in the car, sit down, put my seat back, sleep again. Get up, drive to my house, pull over, fall asleep, wake up, bring my groceries into the house. So I was living a life of just utter depletion. And not to mention, people with low thyroid tend to gain weight. And so I was overweight, but I had accepted it. And I have to say, it's fun being a big girl with big curves. There's nothing wrong with that. And, I was okay with it, on a certain level, but it was a manifestation of it was actually a manifestation of Hashimoto's, of this thyroid disorder. So all my hormones were off and things weren't functioning properly in my body. I feel like my whole reproductive system was off. I stopped having my period. I was having a lot of stress, and so that was contributing to it. So there's a lot of ways it manifests, but one of the most common things that people with autoimmune disorders have is utter exhaustion. And then it can manifest as inflammation, pain, swelling, brain fog, and so on.
Wow. You know, I feel like it's a little bit like one of those, my acupuncture calls it like the walking wounded. Like I would imagine for you, it was kind of one of those things, and anyone that's dealt with this sort of stuff, it's not like you're walking around with like your arm in a sling or your leg in a cast. You know, you don't visually look any different than everybody else, but the inside environment is just, like you said, depleted. And I mean, I can't really even imagine what that must have been like. And you're such a bright light now, like so much vitality and so much energy, and like you charge. And I also can think of probably that when you were struggling with that, for those that did know, I would imagine that you were probably getting like an onslaught of like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, like getting a lot of potential solutions. And I just would like to ask you, like, how did you sift through, you know, or how did you finally get to the point where you decided to try the 40-day and incorporate the foods and
that's a good question.
Try, you know, to give this a go?
Yeah, it's kind of like I was basically at the end of my rope. I had gone to, you know, Eastern, you know, Western medicine, Eastern medicine. Western wanted to give me like Synthroid and all these different artificial things, but I also knew that if I took medication, my thyroid would stop producing, and then I was afraid my thyroid would shrink, and then I'd lose it completely, and I just wasn't willing to do that, and I just kept holding on, just waiting for the solution, not taking medication. And then, but I was, you know, struggling, and then I went to Eastern medicine, and I went to, you know, Chinese, you know, herbalist, and then I went to Ayurveda, and I even became an Ayurvedic practitioner trying to heal my own body. And one of the things that you know, people really promote are, you know, bone broth and more meat to, like, you know, help, you know, it's like the chi and helping the you know, helping the adrenals. And what's interesting about that is it did work for a little bit. I started eating, you know, more meat, and it worked for a minute, and I kind of was feeling better. But I have to tell you, I know, I mean, there's so many studies out there that show how meat creates acidity in the body and actually leads to cancer. And I was like, this is not a long-term solution. Like, how do I get out of this lifestyle? I mean, it feels good, but at the same time, like, I just knew in my bones that this couldn't be good for long-term. And I also, you know, love animals. I'm like, I don't want to have to kill so many animals, you know? So this was my conflict, my inner conflict. So, you know, but one of the things I did learn about in Ayurveda is all the different herbs and all the different, you know, I was also an avid just researcher. I was studying mushrooms. I was studying how all these different great, you know, mushrooms can like help, you know, reduce tumors. And like, you know, Paul Stamets' mother healed her breast cancer, her fourth stage breast cancer with mushrooms. So I was really into, you know, mushrooms. I was really into these different herbs, you know, rhodiola, ginseng, maca, all these things, and adaptogens you know, I learned in Ayurveda school, you know, adaptogens help the body adapt to stress and help the hormones come into balance. If your hormones are too high, the adaptogens will help your hormones get lower. If your hormones are too low, adaptogens will help your hormones get higher. It's a miracle. I mean, like, can you imagine, like, something that can actually just decide for you whether your hormones need to go up or down? That's, to me, miracle food. That's intelligent food. So, you know, when I read these products, when I looked through, well, what happened was, you know, a friend of mine Sarah Rhinelander tagged me on a post on Facebook on somebody's transformation. Everyone was concerned about me. Everyone knew that I had health stuff. And I looked at it and I said, oh, there's like a cleanse component. This sounds good. I know I need to do a cleanse, because I know that cleansing is about cleaning out the liver, and all the toxins that we've ever come across stay in our liver. Every gas pump you've been at and breathe the fumes, where do those toxins go? They stuck in your liver. Every medicine you've ever taken, you know, all the toxins, they just go to your liver and they hang out there. So I knew, like, I need to clean out my liver because this might help everything else. But I had no idea just how much that was going to change my life radically, completely, forever. So I combed through these products with a fine-tooth comb. I did, I looked at all these superfoods, the Purium 40-day protocol superfoods, and back then it was 30 days. And I was really like amazed by that everything was organic and that it was even live and organic. That I'm like, this is living food. I mean, you add water and then it's still got its enzymes. I mean, because of the dehydration process, it's not, they don't use heat to dry everything out. So it's just the whole process is a wonderful patented technology. So I'm like, okay, this is living food. That's good. It's all organic. They have an incredible, way of processing everything. And their farms are on a soil that's 30 to 200 feet deep of rich topsoil. Like, who has that? I mean, I know that there's this topsoil issue that we have. And so just the fact that the quality of these nutrients and how they were grown really impressed me and made me think, this is top notch. Like, this is actually, really top notch stuff. And I was impressed that there were mushrooms in the love shake. And I knew that the love shake was the one that I needed because of all the mushrooms, the adaptogens, the maca, the rhodiola, the ginseng, everything that's in there was stuff I was already trying to concoct myself. I was making these morning cocktails that had like my smoothie. I mean, had my berries and had my spirulina and my maca. And I was adding my own cordyceps. And I was making I'd spend this whole morning, making this cocktail of for a smoothie, big giant thick old smoothie with veggies and everything in it. And then I looked at the ingredients on this love shake and I'm like, this has everything plus more in it, and I couldn't even possibly grow all that myself if I was really trying to do it myself. I mean, I no matter what, we have to source from other places. And so it was very, very impressive. And so I started my journey, and then, of course I researched, and then everything else just made so much sense. The love, the papa cherry juice, just knocked me out, helped me sleep deeply. Finally, I wasn't waking up all night long, helped balance my cortisol levels, which, is what causes fat around the belly, that stress. And, everything, the aminos, the white American ginseng, the bee energetics, these are things that specifically I knew that I really researched and wanted to add these things in. So I might be jumping the gun and answering some of your other questions, but, I do have a protocol, that I recommend that I can actually, tell everybody about at the point.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. In fact, maybe if you could just type in the protocol to the chat. I know you mentioned obviously the love, which has all the adaptogens and the mushrooms and the sprouted, right? There's a lot of sprouted stuff in the love. And as I understand it, with autoimmune and really with any dis-ease that we find in the body, it can be connected to the gut. And so that's a huge conversation that we're having right now, is like how to really restore the gut, how to bring down inflammation in the body, and how to really kind of create a stable environment for all of our systems to just work well, to rebalance the hormones. Like Rachel mentioned, hormones are crazy. They're like these tiny little chemicals that control everything. So when those go off, when they're out of balance, it really affects so much. And Rachel, I love that you brought up, because this is part of the through line that I want to be talking about, is like, not only is this good because like the ingredients are good, but it's where the ingredients are sourced from. And so our topsoil is super pure. It's geographically distant from anything that could be possibly contaminating, like pesticides or herbicides or genetically modified ingredients. So we have it super clean. Like, that's the idea of Purium, is pure plus premium superfood. And superfoods are the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet. So really, it's a matter of deeply, deeply nourishing ourselves. And so you said you felt a difference in like your first week. You started to feel like things are balancing out. Can you kind of give us now the trajectory of like from your first week, what changes you noticed, and then over the first couple of years? And now I feel like, what was it, last year or maybe 2017, that was like a big climax of you. I remember that you like came on, you did a live stream, and you're like, I'm going to make an announcement that's going to totally surprise all of you, but I'm just anyway. And you announced that you were actually going to join a bodybuilding competition. And I would love to hear a little bit about like what that journey was for you and why you chose to do it, and how did it end up going?
Okay, well, so let's see. I think you asked me two questions. Was there something before the bodybuilding question?
Just like kind of your trajectory from like being totally fatigued and having to take
Hmm.
naps all the time to, the
Okay.
first week and then eventually getting into like a bodybuilding competition.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing. It's like, so when I talk about that first week, I mean, so after I did my prep, right? We have a little prep phase. After I did my prep, then I went into the 10-day cleanse. And on day 7, I was like, I have so much energy. I've got to get to the gym. And I was just so inspired to go, right? And so, I got there and the treadmill felt slow. What I'd usually been running out was 4.1 miles an hour. It just felt like, I was like, this is seriously, this is Turtle Island. Like, this is not cutting it. And I turned it all the way up. I got up to 6.9 miles an hour and I was booking, and I was able to do that for over a mile, and that impressed me. I was like, whoa, I'm getting to 3 miles. And I remember running and just feeling like, this must be what it's like to be on steroids. Seriously, this is what it feels like to be on steroids. I feel superhuman. It was amazing. And so right then I could have joined a bodybuilding competitions just starting from that day. I thought it was too good to be true. I was pretty sure it was like going to end after 10 days, but I just kept going and I stayed on the court for nutrition. And so within a couple of months, I was like noticing changes in my body. I wasn't even, wasn't even really the workout. I was like, before I'd even started working out, I had already lost, 7 pounds on day 7. And then on day 7, I just started going to the gym. And within 2 months, my body had totally radically changed. The aminos are great because they tone muscle, they tighten skin. I was like, everything's looking so good. I felt like I hadn't been like this since I was 20. And so I kept going. And then at some point, and so, I really felt fit. And then at some point, someone recommended, why don't you join this? It was Lily. She said, why don't you join this bodybuilding competition? And I was, at first I was kind of a little, like, I don't know if I want to look like that. That's a little scary, so muscly and everything like that. But she just said, check it out. There's a bikini division. Don't worry. And so I said, oh, all right, I'll at least talk to the coach. And then that was it. I fell in love with the coach, and I just got the vision. I was with all these other women who were ready to, who were, who in their 40s were ready to transform their lives. And so I said, I'm doing it. Let's do it. I just want to see if I can. And I thought, the whole time I kept thinking, like, if I even place, that would be cool. Like, if I even place 8th, that would be so amazing. Like, I don't even know if I'll be able to place, but, just to be there, even if and I just kept reassuring myself, even if I'm the last one picked, I'm the last one in the line, I'm just going to be proud of myself that I just did my very best. And we'll see what happens. Well, the day came, and it was fun. Everyone, all these ladies in their glass high heels, platforms, and bikinis, all rhinestoned out, and we're all in the back just giving each other props. Oh, you look great, you look great. And I'm like doing push-ups in my heels and my bikini, pumping up my arms, getting my arms ready, and I'm lifting weights backstage in my bikini. And I think I went Facebook Live on that. And I got out on a stage, and my very first competition, I won first place. I was like, oh, they didn't call me 5th, they didn't call me 4th, couldn't call me 3rd. What is going on? So, all right then. So I guess I'm in, So I just did so I did a few more competitions. I won second place. Thank you. Second place. I won first place in the evening gown competition. That's the one. That's my first place win right there. I couldn't believe it. And then I won first place in the overall, sorry, I can't remember, but there were a bunch of different competitions. I won 3 first places though, I'll tell you that much. That was all I need to know. It's all like a big blur at this point.
Wow. I just love how completely unexpected it was to have you embark on that journey, and to you've always been someone that's really into holistic health, and like I've always known you to just be like a pretty like down to earth, non-competitive, like very kind of more rootsy woman, and then to have you just like go for it, I felt like it was kind of a testament to your whole journey for the past few years, and to be able to like go there and push your body. And I know you were working with my trainer, you were training like every single day.
Oh yeah.
To be able to maintain that, especially after where you'd been at a few years ago, was absolutely remarkable. So good job.
Yeah. it was a hard year. I mean, my parents died. I had a dear friend of mine who had been my roommate take his life and went through a breakup. So there was just a lot of stuff that happened that year. But this was fueling me, was like, I mean, I'm just starting to feel better and better in my body. So it gave me a purpose to live at a time when I really could have taken my own life. I mean, everything that I went through that year was so tragic. And yet I kept giving happiness purpose. And then my purpose came to be like, let me get this to everybody else in the world. There is nobody on this planet who does not need this. Yeah. There is something in this for everyone. Almost everyone could use more energy. Even the top fit people that I talk to who are, you know, I have people who are yoga teacher trainers who do the 40-day transformation. They're like, oh my God, I thought I was already on top of the world. Like, this is next level. And I mean, it really like turns us into super champs. I don't know how it does, but it's just, and I really do think that it has to do with Dave is just an incredible formulator. I mean, he is just a master formulator. And then there's also the fact that this, and especially that this nutrition is the way it's grown is like nothing else. The way it's grown and harvested is so pure, so complete, totally organic, like free of chemicals, and then high nutrients. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize that, you know, you can take like a 12-pound bag of spinach and it looks great. It's conventional spinach, looks green, looks the same. You got your 12-pound, you know, and then you got your bag of organic spinach and they look the same, but this bag of spinach that's organic actually has way more nutrients than this 12-pound bag of spinach that's also covered in pesticides, which destroy your gut. And that was one of the things you were going with was how, you know, pesticides and all these different chemicals that are put on our food, not on our, just only on our food, but also in our perfumes and our soaps and our laundry detergents. All these things are poisoning us and the earth. They're also going into the environment. So, you know, this looks so benign, this 12-pound bag of spinach, but really you only need a pound of the organic, you know, grown in good soil. And this is the same amount of nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have all the poisons that are doing the damage that's connected to so much disease that we're seeing, especially in our country, because there's really like no control over
Absolutely.
the chemical agriculture industry right now. I'd like to open it up for Q&A. I feel like there might be some questions for you, Rachel, but before we do that, do you have any just like a message that you would love to give that anyone is struggling with Hashimoto's or autoimmune disease or anything that we've talked about today? Do you just have something that you'd want to share with them as far as like just a message from your heart and some feedback that you can share from your journey?
Yes, well, I think that I want to say that I think the hardest thing that we go through is it's hard to believe that it can change. When you've been sick for so long, you start to identify with your sickness. And it was hard for me to imagine, but I just kept telling myself, I have no idea what the answer is, but there is one, you know, and it's almost too good to be true. But part of the other thing that's hard too is that people who are sick, it's like food can become our only comfort because nothing else is working. Like I can't hang out with friends. I can't really like, you know, have sex with my partner. I'm totally depleted. I'm a wreck. No one wants me. No one loves me. Like, but food is good. And then it's easy to kind of like comfort ourselves with food. And the way that this whole 40-day program really worked for me is that it was so immediately got rid of my cravings and helped me form new habits. And I think this is one of the like the important things for people to realize and to look to is that when your liver is supported, it literally ends cravings. I mean, it reduces cravings so substantially that you can remember that you like a chocolate chip cookie, but when it's sitting there, you're like, I could take it or leave it. And it's so weird to get to that place. You know, I was the gal who was like, oh, I love chips. They'll be organic, but just because you're organic doesn't mean that you're healthy. And just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy, right? So, you know, you can still like pile in, like just eat tons of nuts or eat tons of chips and things like that. But really, it was so easy for me to let go of these things because really when the body is hungry for something and it's craving something, what it's looking for is nutrients. It's literally just looking for nutrients. It's not looking for calories. It's looking for nutrients. So if we just give our body the right, dense, incredible nutrients, we actually feel satisfied and we don't need much more. I really don't have to eat a lot. And I still work out. I mean, I do power yoga, or not power yoga, but I do my sort of anti-style yoga, which is intense. And I don't need a lot of food because I feel so satiated because I'm taking these dense superfoods every day. I'm not saying like I don't eat, and I'm not, you know, and I don't poo-poo on other people's lifestyles. I eat 99.9% plant-based. I've eliminated meat and dairy from my diet. I really and eggs. I don't need any of these things, which is so interesting because contrary to that, everyone was telling me this is what you need. And now I've like I'm symptom free and I'm not eating any of those things. And I do have my shake every day. I do have my, all the core 4 nutritions, my apothecary juice every night in a wine glass. I have my biomedic every day, which gets rid of the glyphosate. I've got my, and then what else am I missing there? Obviously my shake, which is equivalent to like, 36 organic vegetables. So I have that at least once a day. And I sometimes I go the whole day and that's all I have. Like I literally don't need anything. And I'm like, I got to bed. I'm like, oh, I didn't eat today. But I mean, the amazing thing is I still feel fueled. I have plenty of energy and I feel great. Not to say you shouldn't eat because, meals are great. I do eat. I just went and had a great meal with my friends.
Yeah, and you are eating. I mean, it's just a different form of eating. You're really drinking a lot of your nutrients, which can kind of be a different lifestyle for some people. But once you kind of get into the rhythm with it and you're getting your cells deeply nourished, then that can be such a game changer that you can see the difference. A lot of people are actually overeating, but still undernourished.
Yeah.
Because they're eating a lot of like empty foods that just are kind of void of any micro and macronutrients and that have a lot of pesticides and chemicals added. And so really this is a conversation of quality over quantity. And really, like, I love what you said, Rachel, not judging, nothing right or wrong, just really looking at what the body needs to thrive and delivering that to it in the most bioavailable way. So with that, I'd love to open it up, maybe about 5 more minutes. If anybody has a question for Rachel, if you've experienced autoimmune or if you know someone that has experienced any sort of autoimmune disease, go ahead and you can pop off of mute and we'll keep the line open for just a few minutes of Q&A.
Hey, I'll hop on real quick. Aloha, everyone. I just had one question for you, Rachel, as I was curious which 40-day you went with because the support products are different. So I was wondering, did you go with Ultimate Nutrition, Athlete, Weight Loss? I'm thinking.
Good question. Yeah. Hi, Nayoa. I do the 40-day Ultimate Nutrition. And because I like that it has the cleanser herbs in there, I think that's really important because that gets rid of any possible parasites as well as it's cleansing and helps the body move through. So if you're, constipated, it's going to like make sure all the toxins get out. If somebody has IBS problems, like they have issues with, it's like runniness, over loose bowels, then the Love Shake is really going to be helpful for that. And also same for, myself. Like I basically looked at the products and I said, I'm going to do the 40-day Ultimate Nutrition. I'm going to use the Love Shake. The Love Shake is really, really ideal, I think, for people, a lot of people with autoimmune disorders. And some people don't like, some people, and if anybody has issues with grains, like here's what I want to say about that because it has rice protein, and if anybody has issues with grains, what you got to know, and this comes from Ayurveda, from my schooling, is that if you soak the grains, if you ferment them, if you soak them at least 24 hours or overnight, any amount of soaking, is going to remove phytic acid, and phytic acid is the real culprit. Some people are concerned about oxalic acid in kale or spinach, but let me tell you, if it's you don't have to worry about oxalic acid if it's raw, and this stuff is raw and it's organic. And on top of that, it would take a lot of eating just tons of this stuff in order to actually for it to have any harm. So it's really, that's kind of a moot point. I think that there's a lot of myths around oxalic acid, and I mean, just misinformation and people who like just don't know enough and haven't seen a lot of research. And then on top of the 40-day, I would add in the Can't Beat. This is really great for energy. The V Energetics is really wonderful. You can do like twice what it says on the bottle for a full adrenal reset until the bottle's empty. I think that super xanthan is really key, or Virusure, or both. If you're an athlete, then super xanthan's great because it gets rid of soreness. It actually repairs the muscles really fast, so you're not sore anymore. But also the Virusure and the super xanthan are also, that red algae really helps, protect you from viruses. It really, if anybody has herpes, the Virusure is just, will prevent that kind of an outbreak. Same with, ulcers are related to that too. So whether it's an ulcer on the mouth or ulcer inside, you know, the Virusure is fantastic. So I think, and that's also part of the Lyme protocol is the Virusure, and I think it should be part of any autoimmune protocol. And Superxanthin I love. I take a lot of the Superxanthin. And trying to think of what else. I think I said white American ginseng. It's a great adaptogen. I mean, I feel that stuff instantly. It gives me this calm feeling of energy that I can't even explain. I feel it instantly like that. I love it. Some people might feel that when they do a shot of tequila. I just do a shot of white American ginseng.
I love it. The ginseng is one of my favorites too. I use it a lot. I'll just do like a little teaspoon and I can immediately feel it. Like my eyes are wider, everything's more clear. And yeah, it's an amazing superfood. Everything that you just mentioned. You know, it's a big protocol, but we look at this as like a food source, you know, a nutrition source. And when our food situation is so screwy in this modern world, this is where we go to really turn to like the plants and the herbs and the superfoods to find answers. We'll take like one or two more questions regarding health and we'll transition. Does anybody else want to pop off mute and ask Rachel a question this morning? No, we've shared a lot.
Hello. Hi. Thank you, Rachel, so much. This is such great information. I'm really curious. You've listed like a whole lot of products there that you take. What would you say is your ratio of like how many Purium products do you take versus how much actual food, like maybe a percentage or that you take throughout each day?
That's a really good question. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see your face. Let's see. Well, okay, I'll just go with today. So I had, I had my beet juice this morning before my workout, and my super aminos, and sometimes I'll have like, you know, banana or an apple or some kind of fruit. And then I work out, and then I have a shake, and then I went and I had a meal with friends, because, you know, if I'm working out, I really want to make sure that I have at least, you know, for an hour workout, you know, 600 calories, 300 calories for every 30 minutes of workout. And so I had a feast. I had tom kha gal soup, I had a nice side salad, and I had hummus with lavash, with gluten-free lavash bread. So that was like my meal, and some tea, some chai masala tea, and then I'll have a shake at some point again today. I'll have a love shake at some point again today. It's kind of like it can be a snack or a meal replacement. Really, it's such a great food. And you know, I might have like for dinner, I might have a potato, you know, with some like a little coconut oil on it, and like, you know, maybe some vegetables with it, or not something light, because I really just don't need a lot of food. I just don't feel hungry the way I used to. I used to just overeat. I ate a lot. So, but you know, I think that, you know, so I think kind of the average, you know, I would say like on average, if I was going to recommend, I would say at least just do one shake a day. And then do all the other, you know, do your biomedic to get rid of glyphosate daily, because it's, you know, always around us. The apothecary juice and the super aminos. So I do the super aminos, you know, like I try to do them 2 or 3 times a day, because that's just great, clean protein that's plant-based. And I think that's pretty much, you know, if I were going to not live with one product, I would say the super aminos. That's probably like my number one, that and my love shake are my two, like, I can't travel anywhere without those 2 things.
Yeah, and I'd probably go with that too. I think I'm about at like 50-50 personally, like 50% superfoods, 50% like whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good ratio.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Saves a lot of money and time.
I feel like I want to kind of just address that. I think sometimes people are concerned, like, I want to just shop all local and organic and like just have like, you know, food from the earth that's grown in my garden. And I'm just like, heck yeah, me too. You know, I'm like, I've been a farmer for years, and I know Melissa is too. And it's just, you know, it's great to have food out of your own backyard, and the amount of variety that we want and need, including all the adaptogens. I mean, people have for centuries been trading. I mean, this is a part of our culture as a world. To trading, you know, there've been trade routes all throughout history, throughout time, and this is a pattern. This is like a part of our world pattern, is like trading and like having you know, different foods from different places, and they all provide different things. So we want to have variety. It's hard to get it all in your own backyard. If you had to grow everything that you get from these products, I mean, you'd be processing and hardworking, and your whole day would just be about making the food, and you would never have time to actually do work other work that, you know, pays the bills unless you are a farmer. So I'm all about supporting. That's ideally what we want to have, is like, you know, all these other, you know, superfoods are great. And, you know, as much as you can have, like I say, live on organic local produce all day long. I eat apples from my tree. I eat pears from my tree. I have, my boyfriend has kale in the garden. We like eat as much as we can from the earth. That's like, I mean, all of this is from the earth, but I'm just saying we eat as much from our backyards as we can and our friends' backyards. But, you know, to really get top-notch nutrition, even the soil in my backyard, I can't even say is the best soil. Not as good as the soil that this stuff is grown on. And, you know, this farm is, you know, our farms are also just incredible as far as like how we rotate crops and compost. So, I mean, there's such good gardening practices that really put nutrients back in the soil.
Awesome. Well, we'll bring that conversation to a close of really focusing in on the health side of things. I'd love to see actually whoever's on the line right now, who invited you to this this call. Just go ahead and drop in the chat. Whoever shared the Superfood show with you and invited you here, let us know. I just kind of want to get a gauge of where everybody came from. And it looks like we have one more question. With all the glyphosate, even leaching into organic farming because it remains in the soil, where are the superfoods grown? So I can answer that. Our farms we have a good amount of vegetables being grown in Utah and Montana. And like I mentioned earlier, they have been selected to be geographically distant from any potential cross-contamination and with a long history of organic farming. So we're working with farmers. I mean, some of our partnerships are even like generations. Like it was like grandpa to father to now son is like taking over the farm, you know? So we're working with like multi-generations of farmers that have maintained these practices. We also test everything. So we test the soil, we test the food, we test everything that gets brought into our facility. There's like I think it's like a 7-tiered quarantine of every single sample that comes through gets tested with infrared testing to make sure that there is no chemical residue. So we aren't afraid that if we find something that we don't like, you know, I've had conversations with our formulator, Dave Sandoval, about ingredients, bulk batch ingredients having to get sent back, you know, or not accepted because they just weren't to par, you know, when we were sourcing for new ingredients. I know we were trying to find a certain ingredient last year that we just weren't able to find it up to par with what the Purium standards are. And that was, I think, Harataki, which is an amazing superfood. So if anybody has a Harataki connection, let us know, because we're looking to source a good organic Harataki right now. But yeah, we've worked with, you know, organic farmers, and we've not only worked with farmers that maintain organic practices, but we've actually, because our buying power as a collective is so strong, we've actually helped farmers to get organically certified, which is pretty incredible because, you know, for me, like that's like a huge step that we're taking as a company, as a movement, you know, not just being the buyer and getting to have the benefits ourselves, but actually help the farmers to get their organic certification and maintain their practices that they've had for generations. And a few years ago, we were able to outbid Monsanto and create a co-op of organic rice farmers in Thailand that were being bid on by Monsanto itself to, you know, of course, if that would have been the case, then the land would have been consumed with pesticides. And we were able to come in and support this channel of abundance because we buy so many rice bran solubles, and Rachel was talking about rice, you know, as this amazing superfood. But, you know, if it's not processed the right way, it can trigger certain things in the body. We know the right way to process it so that it can really be utilized as a, you know, as a superfood and as medicinal purposes, really deeply nourishing. So if you guys are just interested in the health portion and you want to explore some of the products that Rachel was talking about, I'm just going to drop our website here in the chat. It's ishoppurium.com. Purium is, again, pure and premium, so Purium, ishoppurium.com. It's a super simple website. It's based on Shopify, so you're able to just go buy whatever you'd like. Whoever invited you to this call today has a gift card code that you can use. And on your first order, you'll get $50 or 25% off, whatever's more. So in the case of the 40-day that Rachel was talking about, you'll actually save over $100. to embark on this journey when you use that gift card code. So I see that there's a lot of people that got invited here from various friends, and you can just like send them a text or give them a call, and they can help you to find what products will work best for your goals. And they'll also give you a gift card. So you can use that code to save some money on your first order. If you're just interested in the health part and just in being a customer, then you can go now. We're going to wrap up the health side, and I definitely encourage you guys to get in touch with whoever invited you here and to try this out for yourself. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee, and we can talk all day long about how great the products are and give you a million testimonies, but you really only know once you get it in your own body what it can do for you. So good luck with that. Enjoy. And we're going to transition for the last like 12 minutes of this call. Let's talk about the business side, because there is an amazing social sharing economy that has been attached to this company. You know, first and foremost, Purium was a health products company. They have had a manufacturing center in Southern California for over 20 years. And they've been creating these relationships with farmers for decades. But recently, they've decided to turn it into an opportunity for people to not just experience more health, but also to experience another wave of wealth and an opportunity for more prosperity and to create another income stream for their family. And that's something that you've really dove into, Rachel, is creating this to be a business for yourself by sharing with other people and giving out those gift cards that we mentioned and being able to receive a commission off of going out and sharing with others. And, you know, you've helped now thousands of people to transform their health. And some of the stories that I've seen coming from your network are just like, they touch my heart and they bring me so much inspiration to keep going and keep spreading this mission fast and far. And I would love for you to share with us just like what you've received from this business, because you've given so much, like you continue to give so much of your time and your energy and just your focus to really working with this company and working with the new people that are coming on to help strengthen our movement. But I'd love to hear, like, what are you really grateful for? What have you been given from this opportunity of professionally representing Purium and spreading it in your community?
Wow, that is a really big question, because, you know, Purium is just so part of my entire life and my existence now. I'm just so in alignment with this company and this mission and this vision. And one of the most satisfying things for me has been that I am doing something, I'm able to earn an income and support my family by helping other people. I mean, plain and simple, like how many people get to do what they really love and help others? So, you know, for me, what it's helped me do, what it's been enabled me to do is now I support my family in the Philippines, which has been, like, since I was a child, been a big struggle, a big concern. It's always weighing on our minds, you know, our family in the Philippines, like how they're doing, living very destitute and often not having enough money for medications even, or even food sometimes. And they live in squalor sometimes. So I've been, you know, slowly helping my family by paying for my nieces and nephews' college education, helping them, you know, pay for their exams, helping them buy school supplies. I also have been helping my sister build, you know, like a nail salon, because that's her dream, is to, you know, have that, and helping her like have income that way. I just, you know, supporting her with her new baby and their children. I mean, it's, you know, there's a lot of factors, you know, but just helping my brothers and my sisters, two brothers, helping them just get started and like helping them actually like expand their businesses that they already have. So that's what it's done for me professionally in terms of what I've been able to do with my income. But on top of that, you know, and also, you know, just having what I really love about being in this company is the community. I mean, that I get to work with you, that we get to do this, that we get to educate people, tell them how important it is to be organic, tell them how important it is to know their soil health of their food, to be eating the right things, to help people end cravings and like get off of the sad American diet, to give people hope, to give people light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and then supporting people with nutrition, and then seeing them get off of medications. I get a text message, you know, from somebody who's been sick for 3 years, and she says, oh my gosh, I just finished my 40-day, my SIBO is gone, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, which she had been like chronically having diarrhea and just really, really sick for a long time. And so, I mean, these kinds of messages mean so much to me. I feel like, it's like, I don't know how many doctors get messages like that from their patients, but, I just, it warms my heart. And then to be able to be in a community every day where there's people supporting me, like the business model itself, I can't be successful unless I help other people be successful. I mean, can you imagine in like a regular store, even Whole Foods, right? Even that model, it's like no matter how hard people work, people are not going to make more than whatever the minimum wage is, or whatever, like the minimum, they're, $15 an hour or $25 in a managerial profession. So I love that we can earn an income and that it's unlimited. It's based on how much we put into it, how much we want to invest our time, how much we really want to, help people or help ourselves, So I just like that there's an unlimited income potential. I love that it's accessible to people. That, well, first of all, that the food is accessible, less than $8 a day or less than $6 a day. And, I was homeless for a while, being sick, I was homeless for a little while. And this was the cheapest way to get nutrition, right? It was really like literally the most, affordable way to get what I needed on a daily basis, $2.50 per meal. That's going to have, more nutrition than most people get in a day, So there's so many factors, but, the community, I would say, is what keeps me sane. The community and seeing all this brightness every day, seeing people happy, seeing people trying to figure out how to help others, and also helping other people make an income, because everyone needs an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, right? And so even being able to help people who want to just do it on the side or just want to get their products paid for, I'm helping them help other people change their lives. And I can't think of anything more rewarding. I feel like I finally found my calling. The whole time I was doing wedding photography, I loved it. It was fun. It was glamorous. But I was always thinking, man, I'm not doing enough to change the world. I'm not using my gifts and my skills. I don't feel like I'm being as effective in the world and like making a difference the way I want to. I always felt like I was supposed to do something bigger, and came in the form of Purium.
Which might have been surprising, to have it just arrive like that. On your front door, but I get it. You had an amazing transformation, and I'm really grateful that you've gone out and helped to spread it. For those of us that might be brand new to this whole opportunity, could you explain, just to kind of wrap things up, could you explain a little bit of how the business model works? Because we kind of have two businesses in one. Like there's the affiliate side, which is a pretty huge opportunity, especially for people that, have a big network and have a large community, or have a big online community, or are like the modern influencers on social media. There's that side of it. And then there's also the opportunity to, like Rachel said, like build a team and help other people gain more wealth from this. And that's the network marketing side. So could you talk about how exactly this business model works?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I got a ride from a Lyft driver last night, and we were having conversation about this, and we were talking about the model of like Lyft and Uber. If I basically so I have this whole network of friends. We all have some people that we know, whether it's friends or coworkers. And so if I tell people, hey, I use Lyft, and if you want to try this, do it, and you get $10. Like I'll get $10 if I share it with people. Like that's fun. I'm already going to tell them anyway. Get $10. Cool. That's great. But imagine if every single time my friend used Lyft, I got $10. What? Every time. Imagine if every time you told your friends, about this Lyft, about to use Lyft, and you got $10, how cool that would be every time they use it. And then they tell their friends about it. And then every time their friends use Lyft, maybe you get $5. And then their friends' friends tell their friends, and $5. I mean, it adds up. My network is around 5,000. Yours is like, 30,000 people. So, I mean, when you have that many people in your network, it's just like amazing. And you're helping them. You've earned that. You've earned that because you're helping other people help other people. So I think it's a terrific model. And there's a lot of opportunity for self-growth. There's a lot of opportunity to, a lot of our training, people get access to this wonderful training. So, a business in a box, this is really what this is. I mean, it's incredible how much people spend on, it's incredible how much people will spend on, we'll actually have to pay back, right? So if we're students for a few years, you know, we have student loans, and then we use that to build a business, right? Because we had to learn all these things to build a business, and then we've got we borrow money to open a storefront. Then that's like $100,000 right there. And then, you know, then you have to build a website, and then you have to figure out and then that's thousands of dollars, and then you have to figure out how to get your website seen, and then that's thousands of dollars just for marketing. So it's like this business model is so wonderful because the structure is already there, and all you have to do is plug into it. It's literally a turnkey business. It's just like everything's already built for you, and all we have to do is share it with the people that we love. It's the lowest overhead you can get. Exactly.
Yeah, which you know, allows the gate to be open, allows the door to be open for anybody that does want to be on this mission and be spreading it. Like my goal with this is to change the standard American diet and make Miriam a household name, where it's just the new normal, where people have superfoods, and, you know, just like they're drinking cow's milk every day, and we all are aware of how toxic, you know, that is, and also just the industry of that, you know, to shift the paradigm to be that instead of milk they're drinking power shake, you know. And that's just one healthy habit that people can develop that has such an amazing, like, snowballing effect of really positive change in their lives. So I want to open it up just for the next like minute or so for any questions about the business. Like, if you guys have questions about how Rachel has created this business, how she's built a team, what her lifestyle is like now that she has it, I'd love to just open it up and receive like 1 or 2 questions from you guys regarding what it's like to be a Purium professional.
Hey there. I would love to ask you, Rachel, as someone that I haven't personally struggled with autoimmune disorders myself, but I know people that do. And I feel like there's definitely a difference of hearing from it, or like hearing about it from somebody who's been where you've been. I'm just curious, like, how you recommend I could talk to somebody that's dealing with something like that, because it's very easy to be like, I can help you. But if I've never been through it, I can see how there could be seen as judgment there. And like, what do you see as the best way that we can really reach out to these people that we know are struggling in a way that they'll be able to hear it?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing we have to do is gain people's trust. And it just and we gain trust by inquiry, by asking questions and showing we care. So really the door opening is really just asking questions, asking what it's like, asking them what are they already doing, you know, are they getting support, you know, if things are working for them, you know, do they have a practitioner that they trust, that they feel is really on board with them, is really helping them, you know, are they feeling progress, or are they feeling stagnant, what is going on in their lives, you know, really just really asking questions. And that then they're gonna, you know, feel that you care, and they're also gonna realize that you have their best in mind, and that you're not trying to compete with what they're already doing, but you're just you're not gonna, you know, share this unless it makes sense, right? It's like, find out if this person is actually interested and wants this and might need it. If they're looking for something, if they are looking for more, and then what they're doing doesn't feel like it's satisfying them, or they're like just kind of living a low level, and they kind of like, well, this is all as far as I've gotten, and I can't get any further. It's really about asking questions, because really, you know, that's what's lacking, I think, in the healthcare system, is asking questions. And the things that, when I first came on, I had somebody ask me a bunch of questions, and I was, you know, I felt listened to for the first time, like for 40 minutes, you know, someone just asked me questions, just trying to find out about me and what I needed, and if I was actually looking for something. And then, you know, here I go, I'm just interested. And then you can offer tools. You know, we have, videos being recorded. If you know someone with Hashimoto's and you ask them questions and it seems like they're looking and they're not finding answers, you could say, you know, I'd love to share a video with you that you might be interested in. It's, you know, a friend of mine talking about how she recovered from Hashimoto's using nutrition, and you know, offer that. And so really like, to break it down, it's just ask questions and then offer a tool, a video, or you know, we have all different kinds of tools. We've got a bunch of different videos. We have a whole a link with all different kinds of information. We have the Purium app, so people can literally send information about the biometric, or education about glyphosate. It's really about education, asking questions and then educating. And so you know, we mentor people to like understand how to do that. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, this is definitely a very heart-based community. Lance, did you want to ask a question? I see you just popped off mute. Maybe not. So yeah, you know, I think that this is like a very organic movement of just taking things step by step and from the heart and getting to know what our community needs. And like I said in the beginning, you know, the statistics are crazy. It's something like 20 million people that have been diagnosed with some sort of autoimmune disease. So, you know, you might not know somebody off the top of your head because you might not be aware that they're struggling with it. But there's a lot of people, this kind of like silent diagnosis that unfortunately a lot of doctors don't really have an answer for. But like everything, nutrition can be such a solution. You know, it can offer us so much. So
There's one more thing that I wanted to say before you close, because on that note, I wanted to say that, you know, like, okay, so this, you know, I definitely like people to work with their practitioners. And so I always say, do you have a practitioner you trust that you can send the ingredients list to? Because I feel like, you know, if you're dealing with people who are on medications, you don't want to like tell them to like stop taking their medications or to just jump into this without involving their practitioner. So always go back to your practitioner. Say, I can send you the ingredients list, and it's in the Core 4 Nutrition Facebook page that we have. So you can always add people to that page too. There's resources there. You can have people ask questions. You can have people, you know, send the ingredients list from that page because it's in there. I created a whole ingredients list that you can download and send your practitioner. And my protocol is in there, so you can just do a search for Hashimoto's.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. What a great question. And, you know, that way it's not like, it's not us against them. It's like a yes and conversation. Like, yes, let's be a practitioner. Let's work together. Let's see, you know, what we can do to really make the most with all of it. Thanks, Rachel, you're such a wise woman. Thanks for bringing it up. So in the chat, I just put isharepurium.com, which is our brand partner website. So if you guys are interested in stepping into this more as a pillar and a leader and to help spread this in your community and share this with your friends and family, then, you know, there's a lot of opportunity here. And the company has been around, you know, we've been formulating for almost 30 years. We've been an affiliate marketing community for about 13, but we really kind of launched just 2 years ago and created a public website and made everything really easy and separated out the business from the customer portals so people can just be a customer, which is why in the beginning I was like, if you're just interested in health, then just, you know, thanks for being here and we'll talk to you later. But, you know, if you are interested in doing this as a business, then that is huge too. I really think that financial well-being is part of holistic well-being. So if that's something that you're wanting to build in your life, this is a very meaningful way to do it. And again, you can get in touch with whoever invited you onto this call, and that can be a much deeper conversation. But today we're going to wrap up our Superfood show for this week. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being on. I'm excited. We have a certified health nut, Troy Casey, who's a rock star in the whole world, kind of an extremist, but very entertaining. He's going to be on, and he'll be really breaking down some science around micro and macronutrients and talking about the amino acids and just kind of taking all of this a lot deeper. So thanks so much, everybody. And I look forward to continuing the conversation here, same time, same place next week on the Superfood Show. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for helping moderate. Love you, ladies. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.